Are you ready for post-apocalyptic America? The following information can be found on the website of the philosopher Diamond Lattès, which is tribulationcoming.webs.com. Here are 3 questions for serious consideration. Will we soon see social and/or economic collapse? Are these the end times? And if so, who might the Antichrist be? We are indeed living in the last days of this age. For a wide variety of reasons, our current condition is unsustainable, economically, environmentally, and politically. Some of the concerning situations that various groups have come up with are peak oil, climate change and violent weather, chemtrails, earthquakes, volcanoes, solar flares, world economic instability, U.S. national debt, the great shift of the Native Americans, the Mayan calendar, the Bible codes, Middle East crisis, rogue nations having nuclear capabilities, corporate ownership of the world's drinking water, GMOs, cancer and other diseases, bird flu, swine flu, and other potential epidemics, corruption and conspiracies of all sorts. Any way you slice it, we are about out of time. If, for instance, the Mayan calendar is a bunch of crap, or it was all interpreted wrongly, would that change anything if the world has peaked in oil production, and that mass starvation is within a generation away due to the fact that we use so many petroleum-based fertilizers to boost crop production in order to feed the world? Would it change the probability that the U.S. economy could implode as our debt continues to rise and our current cost of living cannot be sustained? Would it change the fact that China, Russia, Iran, and Japan have made an agreement to trade oil and other commodities in Chinese currency, setting a precedent for the world to change its reserve currency from the U.S. dollar to something else, which would cause the dollar to plummet and hyperinflation, 100% inflation rate or more, to set in, and that they plan to start trading this way this fall? That's now. You see, there are too many different things about to go wrong. You may be able to poo-poo this one or that one, but unless you purposely stick your head in the sand, you cannot collectively throw everything out or explain everything away. Stuff is about to go down. In the United States, the economic snowball is already rolling uncontrollably down the hill, and it doesn't even matter who wins the presidential election at this point. No one can stop it. Get ready for the Great Depression times 10. So, religion aside and superstitions aside, there are still many reasons to prepare for the worst. Even atheists should see that putting away some beans and rice is prudent, not nutty. Yes, I'm urging everyone to prepare for economic and social meltdown. If it turns out to be for nothing, then what have you lost? You can still use up your supplies. But if it turns out to be true, and you have chosen to ignore all of the warning signs, then you are screwed. A little common sense goes a long way here. They laughed at Noah too, didn't they? Whether you're a Christian, a Muslim, or a Hopi Indian, most religions have this scenario in common. In the, quote, end times, things get really, really bad. There is suffering on a global scale. People die. But then a savior figure steps in and saves humans from becoming extinct and sets everything right. That's the eschatology, study of end times prophecy, of most of the world. The Native American religions believe that things are going to get really bad as Mother Earth cleanses herself of all of the poisoning and abuse that mankind has done to her. The New Age followers believe that many people will leave the planet as this cleansing and regeneration is done. The Mayans believed that the end of 2012 will see an end of an era and that a new sun will usher in a new beginning in the history of the universe. Christians, Muslims, and Jews believe that it will take a savior figure to solve these problems. And they are right. They are all right in this regard. It's going to get worse before it gets better. I personally live by the biblical version of this scenario, believing that our savior figure is Jesus, who I believe will come back before humans cause their own extinction and fix everything as only God can, because the problems we're facing have grown too big for us to handle without divine intervention. But no matter what version of the end times you choose, or whether you reject them all, what are the odds of everybody from all different cultures being wrong? It's going to hit the fan soon, and the whole world knows it. We just call it different things according to our upbringings. Since I subscribe to the eschatology of the Bible, I believe that because most of the world will be looking for a savior, they will get one, but he'll turn out to be the Antichrist. After what is referred to as the Great Tribulation, aka when things get really bad, then Jesus, the true Messiah, will come back. So who and when? Does the Bible give us information on who this Antichrist will be? The Antichrist is described as the man of perdition, or in other words, the guy from hell. Not exactly a pleasant character. What else does the Bible say about him? Well, the book of Daniel says that the Antichrist will start as a nobody and become great quickly, rising to power and fame incredibly fast. He is referred to as the little horn on a multi-horned beast, but the little horn quickly takes over and disregards the others, putting himself in charge. Daniel says that the Antichrist will be boastful. He will cause devastation. He will be stern-faced and intriguing. He will be deceptive. He will be a, quote, different kind of ruler than the ones before him. The Apostle Paul's books to the Thessalonians say that the Antichrist will be blasphemous and deceitful. He will be called the lawless one and a rebel. The book of Revelation says that the Antichrist will breathe blasphemies. He will rise from the dominant political power of his day. A 10-nation coalition will back him. Eventually, he will be accompanied by a sidekick referred to as the false prophet. The Antichrist will suffer a head wound that seems to be fatal, but is miraculously healed, at which time the false prophet will tell everyone to worship the Antichrist. Personally, I think that Barack Hussein Obama is a good candidate to turn out to be the Antichrist. He really seems to fit the bill so far. Of course, he hasn't suffered a head wound. But before you scoff at the fact that I just put it out there so bluntly, please continue to read open-mindedly and then watch the videos that I've linked. Only after seriously considering this information should you make a judgment call. And keep in mind that I did not say that BHO was indeed the Antichrist, but only a good candidate to turn out to be the Antichrist. As the Zen masters say, keep a beginner's mind. Consider all possibilities. But doesn't the Antichrist have to come from the revived Roman Empire, aka Europe? To those who say that Obama could not be the Antichrist because the Antichrist must come from the revived Roman Empire or Europe, I say this. They said the same thing about Jesus. He can't be the Christ. He's from Nazareth of Galilee. What good can come from Galilee? They did not know he was born in Bethlehem. In the same way, we don't know where this Obama fellow is from or where he was born. Hawaii? Kenya? Connecticut, like his social security number suggests? Who knows? He could have been born someplace in Europe, for all we know. Instead of proving that he is not the Antichrist, it is one more parallel that rather confirms the possibility, because they said the same thing about Jesus. Here's another bit of information that I just cannot let go and explain away. The pronunciation of his name to a Hebrew person would sound like the Hebrew words Barack Obama, which means in Hebrew, lightning from the high places or heaven. Jesus said to his disciples, recorded in the book of Luke, I beheld Satan fall as lightning from heaven. If Jesus was speaking in Hebrew to his disciples, which is probably the case, even though the New Testament was written in Greek and Aramaic, it would have sounded just like Jesus said, I saw Satan fall as Barack Obama. When I first heard that, I did not believe it. So I went on Amazon and I ordered a Strong's Hebrew dictionary for myself. When the massive volume came in the mail a few days later, I looked up the words myself, and there it was. B-A-R-A-Q, lightning. B-A-M-A-H, heaven or high places. I'm told that the letter O in Hebrew means the same as the letter O in other languages, such as Irish, which is from. I have not researched that yet. Perhaps you can tell me. So, what am I to do with this information? Should I say, could you be a little more specific, Jesus? I didn't quite get that. And here's another tidbit. Barak in the Kenyan language means blessed. Another parallel to the true Messiah in whom the whole world was blessed. Before the 2008 election, a video surfaced on YouTube that I found to be very compelling. The link is below. It explains that 12 out of 19 characteristics of the Antichrist, that we just went over a few of them in the past slide, were to be found in Barack Obama before he even took office. Also, the short video that explains the lightning from heaven verse is linked below. Be sure to check out both of these videos and weigh the evidence for yourself. Where do we go with all of this? There is at least a possibility that BHO is the Antichrist. And if he is, then that means that the second coming of Christ is very, very near. But it also means that before Christ returns, the Great Tribulation will be in full swing. What about the rapture of believers? There are respected scholars that say that the rapture will happen before it gets really bad, and there are respected scholars that say that Christians will go through a lot of the horror. Some even say that the rapture and the second coming of Christ are simultaneous. So better prepare for the worst just in case we are around to see it. So to just rely on the old pre-tribulation rapture theory that you may have been taught could prove to be equivalent to sticking your head in the sand to avoid hardship. Is that a good plan for you and your family? We hope that the rapture will spare us from any and all hardships, but chances are we will see some sort of collapse. So, having some survival plan is a good idea because things could get real bad real fast. But more importantly is your spiritual preparedness. Have you worked out what you believe? Are you ready? Should the rapture happen this week? If you have questions, please feel free to write to me at diamondlattesse@aol.com. I welcome your thoughts and constructive feedback. But please don't write to me if you're just going to be hateful. You are certainly entitled to your opinions, and if you don't believe any of this, then simply toss it aside. That's your right and your decision. Label me a nut job if you'd like. But remember this at least, my motives are pure. Sincerity and love are in my heart. May God bless you. Love, Diamond Lattesse.